Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brooks.
What's happening, everybody? Great morning, great morning. Hey, Teresa, y'all do me a favor really quickly and begin sharing this out immediately. And the reason why, guys, is because it's getting ready to go down. Cherie and I, I'm trying to get our sound right. Cherie and I are going to talk about something that I talked about earlier this week, and I really needed her to come on and sort of help me with this subject matter. Because it involves, I wanted y'all to make sure y'all got a woman's perspective. So today, we're going to be talking about what it really means for a single person to live their best life. This song that's gone around for years and years and years. I'm going to give y'all some history a little bit, and we're going to go from there. We're going to get started in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great morning, everybody. Great morning, great morning. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. I hope you guys are doing okay. You are a movement by yourself. Go ahead on with your bad self. For those of you guys who are just hopping on, my name's Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a relationship coach, and I am exhausted. I had a really rough night last night. We're not even going to talk about it. Let's just say I ate something that did not agree with me, and I may have to excuse myself. So that's as much as I'm going to give y'all. So we're going to do our best this morning. Y'all pray for your brother. Hey, Carla, what's up? Daryl, shalom, shalom. Good to see you, my friend. Teresa, great to see you. Guys, do me a huge favor. Tag this out. We don't have a lot of time this morning. We have a very, very, very busy day. Let's, on the front end, talk to folks about our singles intensive a little bit, and maybe.
Okay, let me introduce myself.
How about we do that?
Let me do that first.
How about that?
I'm Cherie Brooks Jr., author, speaker, relationship, and life balance coach. And as Glenn just alluded to, we are starting our first singles intensive. It starts today. If you have not already registered for it, you can go to glennpbrooksjr.com and register to participate in that. It's a 6-session course where we will be going over some of the basic principles of how to become your best version of yourself. One thing that often happens with singles as we're looking for somebody is that you'll have in your mind this person that you're looking for, but are you becoming that person, or are you that person yourself? And so there's some key elements that we teach people in our singles community, and we've decided to comprise it into a 6-course session so that they can get the core benefits of the core skills necessary to live a healthy single life, and also to propel you into healthy relationships. We will talk about values. We'll talk about several different things and how to prepare yourself so that when you are selecting a future mate, you're selecting them properly for a lifelong relationship, not just a temporary relationship. And so that starts today at 10.
I think it's 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m. But you can still register now. Go to www.glennpbrooksjr.com. If you have trouble spelling it, his name's right there. It's basically Glenn's name, glennpbrooksjr.com, and you will find the information for the singles intensive, and you can register, and we'll get you the information in time for you to attend today.
Absolutely, absolutely. So today, guys, we're going to get into, I appreciate that, Nikkei. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I did not have a great night at all. I pray that I will feel better as the morning goes on as a result. Your man is just drinking water, one sip at a time. I'm not allowed to have coffee this morning. So just want to talk a little bit about what Cherie just said. This intensive is something foundationally that we've seen, that if singles get these 6 core classes down pat, and they really understand from a fundamental standpoint on what it looks like to actually develop the best version of yourself. You hear people saying that a lot today, babe.
Right.
Be the best version of yourself. The question becomes, how do you do that?
Right.
How do you do that? And we're going to teach and train you guys over the next, really over the course of the summer. It's every other Saturday morning, starting today at 10 o'clock. If you're already a part of the M.A.P.S Relationship Academy, you guys are already going to be there because we've been talking about this for weeks now. If you're not a part of the M.A.P.S Relationship Academy, we certainly want you to come join. There is a link, a place you can go to. I put it in the chat, www.glennpbrooksjr.com. It's my name. If you have a trouble spelling it, it's right over my shoulder. Right there. It's not hard. Go to glennpbrooksjr.com and click the link there. Sign up for this intensive, and then we are going to go from there. So today, Boo, I'm telling you, I'm just super excited. I want you to put your notes right here so that I can see them. We're doing things a little bit more jackleg this morning just because I am struggling. So today we're going to talk about the 4 things that you absolutely need to know in order to live your best life. Let me set it up real quick for people and give them some history. We have heard this term, I'm living my best life. I ain't going back and forth with you. I'm living my best. So we have had everybody from Wiz Khalifa to Chance the Rapper to all other kinds of hip hop artists. I think Cardi B has got a version out there. Here's the deal. The question becomes, where'd they get that from? And what does that really mean? And are you living your best life as a single person? And if you're not, how do you? Okay. Right. So I want to go back just a little bit. Back in 2005, and you can Google it if you want to, on the cover of O Magazine, there was a bunch of articles comprised that talk about a story of what it looks like to live your best life. And one of the challenges I find, babe, and I've been talking about this, talked about this a couple days ago on a lunch and learn that we did, is that everybody is focused on the living. Everybody is focused on the best, and everybody is focusing on life. And so what that means is that when you talk about living, you're throwing caution to the wind and you just saying, you know what, screw it, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live my life, bump everybody, I don't care. Right? Best, I'm going to floss. Right. I'm going to have the best. I'm going to buy what I can't afford. I'm going to live in what I think is the envy of everybody else's eye. I'm going to take vacations, even though it may take me 3, 4, 5 years to pay it back. Right. I'm going to do the best, the most. I'm going to put fake pictures on Instagram. I'm going to, y'all hear where I'm going with this? And so it's got to be the best. We always talk about, people have this habit of putting your best foot forward in a relationship. And you and I both know that ain't your real self. The best foot sometimes is the fake foot. The best foot most often is the fake foot. Yep. And when you're caught up with the best, it will jam you up, particularly if you're trying to live a life and grow as a single. You're performing. Yes, as a single person, because at that point now you're flat out performing. Right. The other thing that I want to encourage you is that a lot of other people is focusing on the life part. In other words, I am going to do me. Right. It's my life. Do you, boo boo? It's your truth. Right. It's your life. Don't worry about nobody else in this, that, and the third. And I think that unfortunately, baby, people skip over the your. Yeah. Yeah. People skip over the your. And so today we're going to break that word your down as an acronym, the Y, the O, the U, the R, and we're going to break that down and give you guys some homework and some things to write down. So if you're not in a place where you're going to write down, I'm going to go straight coach mode on you. We're going to train you and we're going to teach you on what it looks like to live your best life as a single. 4 things you need to know. You got anything you want to share before we get started? I think one thing that oftentimes singles, like Glenn said, we get so caught up in the things outside that we want, whether that's, material things, whether it's being in a relationship. You're so focused on that you forget about you. And so we want to help you. The way to live your best life is for you to live your best life. And that means taking care of you. And I think that that's a piece that oftentimes singles, even married people, they forget that you have to be your best self before you can be of any benefit to anybody else. Wow, please say that again. Yeah, you have to be your best self before you can be of any benefit to anybody else. So whether that's in a relationship, even on your job, as a parent, anything that you do in life, you have to be in optimal condition yourself. Yes. And that's mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. You have to take care of you first. Absolutely. It's like the added, when you're on the airplane, they talk about when the oxygen mask come down, you got to put yours on first before you put it on anybody else. But I think in life, we forget to take care of us first. That, or we don't know how. So I want to break this down. When we talk about the Y, the O, the U, the R, if you're ready for today's content, just put a ready in the chat. I don't believe we're going to be with you guys very long. We're going to kind of go rapid fire. We'll probably break this down a little bit more as we go in subsequent weeks. But if you're ready for this content, put ready in the chat. Again, if you're just hopping on, maybe you're catching us by replay. My name's Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. That's what the sign says. And this is my lovely, light-skinned, beautiful wife who looks like she's 12.
Cherie Brooks Jr., author, speaker, relationship coach, and life balance coach. And we want to welcome you to Breakfast with the Brooks. If you have not subscribed to our channel, we ask you to please subscribe and make sure you ring the bell so that you get notifications when we go live and when we post new videos on the channel.
Yeah. So listen, if we could stop moving around meaning me, maybe the camera can stay in focus. So today we're going to talk about 4 things you need to know. Number 1, and we're breaking down the word your. Live your best life. Everybody focus on the live. Everybody focuses on best. And everybody focuses on life. Today we're going to talk about you. We're going to talk about your. What does it look like to break that word down? So number 1 is why. I want you, that why stands for you. And when you talk about you, I need you to understand that it's about you growing personally. Most people will spend every dime they have for things outside of them, but they will not invest in themselves when it comes to personal development.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that. You know, people, when you go into like the self-help section at any bookstore, if you go looking for books, people often gravitate to how to deal with another person, how to have a healthy relationship, how to do this, how to do that, but they don't really look at how do I become my best self? How do I grow personally? And I think that your personal growth, your personal development is essential, because you have to become, like I said before, you need to become the best version of yourself, and that takes you working on you. I know, like in the church, you know, they focus more on you growing and you becoming a better person, you becoming
more spiritually
minded. And I think oftentimes, because of our society, we approach things from a world view that is always about others. It's always about things outside of us. It's not about us focusing on us.
Right.
You know, oftentimes people will say, well, you so focused on you, you selfish.
Right.
You just think about yourself all the time. I want to challenge that. That's not being selfish. That's taking care of you first. And like I said before, I think people have to remember that you have to take care of you first.
Right. Put this in the chat. Self-care is not selfish.
Right.
Put this in the chat. Self-care is not selfish. Now, when we say self-care, what we're saying is that you schedule and prioritize you. It should be on your calendar that you're reading certain books. It should be on your calendar that you're taking certain courses. You should be looking throughout the year, particularly in these pandemic times where you're having more time on your hands alone than you usually would, where you can't go out, at least not safe and all that. What kind of online courses could you be taking? Could you sign up for an intensive that Glenn P. Brooks Jr. and Cherie P. Brooks Jr. is giving on Saturday morning starting today? Like, what else are you doing that's got you so caught up that you forget you? Does that make sense, y'all? And I promise you, Cherie and I did those very things before we got married. We were both married prior to each other.
Right.
We both screwed that up royally.
Right.
And I can honestly say that 98.9% of the marriage coming to an end was my fault.
Right.
Because of what I didn't know.
Right, and I think most people, when you come out of a relationship, it's very easy for us to point the finger at the other person, but we want to challenge you to point that finger at yourself and look at yourself and find out, what are areas that I need to grow in? What are areas that I need to get over?
Yes.
What are some things I need to move past? And focus on developing those areas so that you won't repeat the same mistakes of the past, because if you don't focus on you, the part, it could have been 1%, whatever it was, whatever's going on with you, if you don't deal with that, I mean, it's amazing to me, people that have been through, you know, sexual assault, sexual abuse, physical abuse, and they never go to counseling.
Right.
They never really deal with the root of that, and they just go through life, and then this thing just keeps popping back up
over and over again
in their future relationships because they've never dealt with it.
Absolutely.
You have to take that time to heal whenever you've been hurt.
Yeah.
All of us experience some form of trauma, but we don't take the time
to
work on that area to be able to get through it, to get past it, whether it's a loss of a loved one, whatever it is. You have to take that time to focus on you.
Divorce is trauma.
Yes, it is.
Put that in the chat. Divorce is traumatic.
Yes.
Put that in the chat. Divorce is traumatic.
Yes,
I don't care what the circumstances that surrounded the divorce. When you put two people together who meld their lives, think about this. When you graft your life inside of somebody else or with somebody else, and it becomes interwoven, Your accounts are the same. You have children that share your blood. You got, I mean, let's just go down the list. Your families are intertwined and connected. When that divorce comes unglued, y'all, that's a ripping.
Yeah.
And that's a tearing.
Yeah.
And that is extraordinarily painful. I'm telling you what I know to be true. So a lot of times when people say, well, I just got a divorce, my answer is not, well, congratulations. It is, how are you?
Right. Because
how you doing?
Right.
You good? What's happening?
Right. Like Glenn said, it's a tearing. It's like, I mean, it's like the strongest Band-Aid you can imagine being ripped off your skin.
That's a good analogy.
That's what divorce is. And people, we just move on and we just go on and we don't deal with that. We don't take the time to heal.
No doubt.
And that's how, those are things that you have to do to grow yourself personally, is take that time for yourself to deal with whatever traumas you've been through, whatever issues you've dealt with in your life.
1000%.
Whatever areas that you see that you need growth in, take the time to do that before you jump into another relationship.
You absolutely owe it to you, and you owe it to that other person.
Yes.
Don't do that to somebody else.
Right.
Don't do that.
Don't
just go from one thing to the other. And I don't care how much time has gone by. You can have been divorced for 7 years and never did the work on healing from it.
Right.
Hello?
Yep.
And then now, because you think time heals all wounds, because you got that ghetto logic from somewhere. I don't know where you got that from.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is that now it's 7 years later. You have forgotten some things you've just kind of moved on. But now you're in a relationship with somebody else. And here's what I can promise you. 2 months, 3 months, a year into that, you're going to start seeing little things begin cropping up. And it was things that were present in your first relationship that you were not paying attention to. Hence, you got a divorce. And then now that thing has revisited itself in your current relationship.
Right. It's remind me of the song by Erykah Badu, Bag Lady. Don't bring all the bags into your future relationship.
Ooh, I'm starting to feel better.
Get rid of that trash in your life. The trash in you before you move on.
Yes,
and so you have to take the time to develop yourself.
If you're ready for number 2, put a number 2 in the chat. If you're ready for number 2, put a number 2 in the chat. Valita said it's true. Valita said, look, don't even mess with me. Carla said yes with all caps. with the look with the kissy lips. I'm like, yes, girl, yes, boy. You go ahead, you go, boy. Listen, because she knows, she understands what that looks like, right? Guys, if you have been in relationships, you understand. Stephanie W said straight facts. I get it, Stephanie. I get it. I'm telling you right now, guys, this is absolutely the case. Teresa Bryant, you're 1000% correct. Divorce
is
traumatic. And if you do not go back and you don't do the work on you, then you're going to be in trouble. We got a bunch of readies in the chat. I appreciate it. Number 2's in the chat. Edith said number 2. Valita said number 2. Carla said, Francis, thanks for jumping on. Said number 2. Listen, we're going to go ahead and drop it on them, baby. The number 2 is the O in you, or the O in your. It is ownership. Put that in the chat. Put ownership. When I say ownership, guys, can I ask you to please learn how to speak your truth and own your stuff? Speak your truth and own your crap. If I could say it a little harsher, I'm not going to go all the way, but the truth, y'all know where I'm going. If you don't start owning your stuff, here's the problem. I'm going to put on you what is my responsibility to bear. And that's not fair to you.
Right. And this goes back to what I said earlier, that how in relationships, we always point the finger at the other person. You got to look at yourself and see, what part did I play? What did I do? Whether it's a friendship relationship, it's a work relationship, whatever in life, what part did I play in it? What area do I need to grow in? What did I do that was inappropriate? What did I do that was wrong? And own that.
Yes.
And say, hey, I need to grow in this area.
Yes.
I know for us early in our relationship, I did not grow up in a home where people communicated. So I did not know how to communicate effectively. And so we would go, in the beginning, we would go months, and I would not share things with Glenn that were bothering me. And then I would explode and give him all the stuff. And I had to own that and be like, look, I apologize. I need to learn how to communicate better because I don't know how to communicate, and I had to work on that. I had to learn how to communicate better, but I had to take responsibility for that. And even in that, I was able to look back at my past relationships. I did the same thing in those relationships, but I had never dealt with that particular issue
That's
because
good,
I
babe.
never knew that that was really a thing.
That's good. That's good. The prayers of the righteous avails much. It ain't got nothing to do with our lesson. Somebody's praying for me. Nikkei said he's back.
Yeah, he done woke up.
When I look, and I ain't even got my coffee this morning, y'all. I'm singing my song, Bag Lady. No, anyway. So listen, really quickly, guys. We're talking about the Y, the O, the U, and the R. We're dealing with the your and live your best life. For those of you guys who are just hopping on, we certainly want you guys to become a part of what we're doing. Cherie and I created a relationship academy. It's an online academy that serves people on a regular basis when it comes to coaching them up. And we get to do that on a weekly basis. Today, we're launching what we're calling a singles personal development toolkit. It is an intensive. It is a course. It's a live course where we're going to talk about all of the foundational things that singles need to know. There's 6 of them that if you can get these things down here and it becomes a part of who you are, here's what I will guarantee you. Your next relationship will be your best relationship.
Yes.
And the reason why is because you're going to be your best self. So if you're ready for number 3, put a number 3 in the chat. We've been talking about the 4 things you need to know in order to live your best life. Number 1, we said, was the you. You have to be committed to personal growth.
The why.
The why.
Why for you.
Why standing for you, right? You have to be committed to personal growth. The number 2 is what?
O, which stands for ownership. It means you speaking truth to yourself and owning your stuff.
And number 3, let's put it in the chat. It's the you, and for you, I want you to put unconditionally loving you. Put that in the chat. Unconditionally loving you. Put that in the chat. Unconditionally loving you. When I say unconditional, what do you hear, Cherie?
It's accepting your flaws, accepting yourself, and loving yourself first before you can expect anybody else to love you. If you don't love you, you don't know how to expect or I'm going to say demand that a person loves you and treats you the right way if you don't treat yourself right. And so you have to learn how to unconditionally love yourself and accept yourself as you are. Accept, your flaws. It doesn't mean you're not still working on things. You're still working on growing.
Make sure you're looking at the camera.
Sorry. It doesn't mean that you're not continuing to grow, but you are focused on loving you and that you make you a priority first and foremost, because you can't expect another person to make you a priority in their life if you don't make yourself a priority.
It's funny. I think one of the things that women don't understand, particularly when you're in a relationship with a brother and you don't love you, he picks up on that, and that looks like neediness.
Yes.
That looks like you sweating him. That looks like you are so caught up in his life that you don't have your own. Let me tell you what's super attractive to men is women who are 100% them. And what I mean by that I mean this. Men are attracted to confident women.
Yes.
They are.
Yeah.
You can often see, you ever see a couple walking down the street and one of them isn't very attractive? And you ask in your mind, you say, how did he get her? Or how did she get him? I'm going to promise you the answer was confidence.
Yep.
That other person exuded a certain level of confidence that attracted that person and causes them to understand, I'm not tripping off of the fact that I am a little tall for most people's liking. I'm not tripping that I may be carrying a little bit more weight than other people may like. I'm not tripping that I may be a little underweight than what other people may like. I may be shorter. Whatever the case may be, I may not have the right clothes. I may not drive the right car. I may not live in the best house. Whatever the case may be that you're judging I should have. But here's what I am confident about. I know who I am.
Right.
And I'm good with that. And I walk in a level of confidence that I have learned to unconditionally love me, loving myself despite my circumstances. It doesn't mean I give myself a pass.
Right.
But what it does mean is that I will not self-sabotage. Put that in the chat.
Right. And I think it's really oftentimes, we have our self-esteem has been damaged through life. But you're taking the time to build your self-esteem up where you're not looking for the approval of other people, but you are so confident in yourself. You like you said, you walk with this level of confidence that, not arrogance. And I want to make sure there's a line. You understand that there's a line. I don't mean that you're arrogant and you walking around like your stuff don't stink, but you are
That's
so
an old school term. Well, you are walking around like your stuff don't stink.
Right, but that you're confident in who you are.
Yes.
And you can walk into a room. So before I went back to school and got my degree, I never had a problem being in a room with people that were more intelligent than me, that had,
supposedly
degrees,
more intelligent.
right, that, were in executive positions, whatever, because I knew who I was. And so I've never been intimidated by other people. I mean, I've never even been a person, like if I meet a star or somebody famous, I'm not tripping off them because they put on their pants the same way as me, because I'm confident in who I am. And I know that I am wonderfully and magnificently made, and there's only one me. There's only one me. So you would want to get to know me, because
that's fire, baby.
I'm
you are that girl.
I'm that girl.
That girl thinks that she's so fine.
Okay, no
she
no.
blow my mind.
Right, and so you
my
have to
stomach
be.
is feeling better.
I see. So you have to be confident in who you are. You have to build your self-esteem up and not look for someone else.
Absolutely.
To build it up, because often what happens, particularly for women, we look for the approval of even men. We look for the approval of other people.
Yes.
To make us feel good about ourselves. You have to be so confident in yourself that you don't need the approval of other people.
Listen, let me tell you something right now. My girl Deb came on. She said, "Ooh, rah! I hear you, Marine. You hear your devil pup sister, Imani. You hear your devil pup sister? She going in, ain't she? She going. Listen, let me explain something to y'all. When a woman walks in a way that she owns that, let me explain something to you. If the brother is immature, he will grow up or he will leave.
Yes.
He will not mess with you. Right. So I want you guys to stop thinking, well, men are intimidated by me. No, they're immature.
Right. They're not the one for you.
They're not the one for you.
Because if they can't handle you, and like I said, it's not an arrogance. You're just being you, but you're confident in who you are. Now, if you've crossed over to that arrogance, you need to check that and you need to look at that. But if you just being you and you walk in a room and seem like people are intimidated by you, that's their issue. That ain't your issue.
Ain't got nothing to do with you. Ain't got nothing to do with you. Guys, for those of y'all that are jumping in the room, Sharita got y'all fired up and ready to go. We're talking about the 4 things you need to know in order to live your best life. Yes. We said that number 1 was the Y, meaning you. Number 2 was the O, meaning ownership. You have to speak truth to you and own your own stuff. Number 3, we said, is the U. It stands for unconditionally loving you. If you're ready for number 4, put a number 4 in the chat. It's 8:29. We're getting ready to wrap up here in a moment. I want to encourage you that if you've not heard, Sheree and I are launching a singles intensive specifically designed to give you tools in order to be able to develop your best situation, your best life for real, and become the best version of you. I think that when that happens, I know that when that happens, guys, the truth of the matter is that it causes you to show up confidently and attract the person that you want to be. Does that make sense? Or you want to be with, because you're becoming that person. Right. So we're launching that this morning. We're going to go in starting at 10 o'clock. It'll be in a live Zoom room setting where you get a chance to come in and engage with us face to face every other Saturday morning starting today. It is not too late for you to sign up. I want you to go to www.glennpbrooksjr.com. It is right over my shoulder. My finger, I can't quite do it because it's backwards, but anyway, that big old circle right there, yes, right there. GlennPBrooksJr.com. Check it out right now and then go there. Hopefully we'll see you guys live at 10 a.m. I got a string of number 4s in the chat, so let's go ahead and go to it, baby. Number 4 is the R, and it stands for relax. Relax. Put that in the chat. Relax. I need y'all to woosah. Woosah. Let me tell you why I say that, Cherie. Is that many people, particularly when you are single, you begin to think time is your enemy. And I'm going to submit to you that your greatest asset as a single person is time. Yes. You have a very unique position that, quite frankly, is only going to be for a season. And I need you to embrace it and squeeze every ounce everything you can out of that season. So when the next season is over, it is truly over forever. And the reason why is because there are too many people who are single-minded in marriages.
Right. And I think
That's
oftentimes,
good.
yeah.
Meaning you done got married and you still in the same season of being single.
Right.
Because you didn't squeeze everything out of that season that you were supposed to do.
Right, because we believe that you got this biological time clock. You wanted to be married by a certain age. Let me just share something with you guys. If you force that because you're worried about time, so you're going to make a relationship work. You're going to force yourself to, you're going to be like, well, I'm gonna just overlook that. I'm gonna overlook that. That's okay. We can work that out. I can change him in that area, or I know I don't really like that about her, but I always said I'd be married by this age, and you press past those things because you're worried about time. You will regret that on the back end. I'm a firm believer that when it's time for you to get married, when it's time for you to have children, it will happen. So if you force it because you're on your clock, you're not on his clock. You're on your clock. So you're going to make stuff happen. 9 times out of 10, you're going to wind up regretting that because you forced an issue and it wasn't time. And the biggest thing, let me just share this from as a married woman. There are certain things that... There are freedoms and things that as a single person you get to enjoy. And that when you become married, you don't get those things.
Come on,
and so enjoy that time while you have it. I mean, one of the biggest things for me when we got married, I was, being single, I could come home from work and do my study time with God or just chill, just relax, do what I wanted to do. I didn't have to answer to anybody per se. I didn't have to consider...
That's the word right there.
Yeah, I didn't have to consider another person, so I was able to just do what I wanted when I wanted to do it. I could come and go. I could come home and not cook dinner, not do nothing if I didn't want to.
Right.
I had my daughter. She was old enough she could fend for herself at that point. So.
And y'all was 2 girls in this situation.
Right. So we worked it out.
Y'all on the couch together eating popcorn.
Right.
For dinner.
Right. But there are things that in your season of singleness, you need to enjoy that season. Now, that doesn't mean that you running around with this guy, that guy, this girl, this... I'm not saying that. I'm not talking about that part of singleness. I mean enjoying your solitude in singleness because when you get in a relationship, you lose that.
Yes.
You lose that.
100%.
And if you don't get all... When he talks about being married and being single, it means that you didn't get all that out.
One of the things that I realized, particularly as a brother, is that I didn't do enough work in my single season to last my married season. And when I say that, Stephanie W. said fire. One of the things that I need you to understand, Steph, is that there was a work that I should have done as a single man that would have directly benefited my marriage later. I didn't do that in my first marriage. And so what happens is, guys, is that there is a certain level of capacity that you have when you're single to devour information, to personalize things, to grow. You're not on the page. I almost think about a college student who has no boyfriend. You ain't got nothing but time to get your studies and make sure that you straight. A college student who doesn't have a love interest, if you will. I never will forget my first wife. The reason why I say that is that she was in college when we were dating the second time around. That's a whole nother story. And I was in the Army, and I never will forget her telling me as a freshman that she was on academic waivers because she wasn't focused. She wasn't done by no stretch.
Right.
But she wasn't doing that work. Anybody who's ever gone to college, y'all know what it is. You get there, you get the wilding out because for the first time you got freedoms. Ain't nobody telling you what to do. Ain't nobody checking on you.
Right.
Ain't nobody doing none of that. And you're not doing what you need to do. And then comes me back into her life because we had dated earlier in high school. I come back into her life with the freedom of this military man who's got his own car coming down from New Jersey to Southern Maryland almost every weekend. And I am living my best life. I'm up in the dorm. I'm cutting up. I'm auditing classes. That's the closest I ever got to college. I'm in the back. She grinning. Talk about, My boo thing is up in here with me, and I ain't doing no. Let's just not even go to class. Listen, I never realized that this woman partially was off course because of your boy.
Right.
I was distracting her from being able to get what she needed to get in a seat. Instead of being the guy that says, "No, I ain't coming down there. I will come down on weekends. I'm not coming down during the week when I have breaks. I'm not doing that because that's going to keep." I'm not mature enough to even think like that.
Right.
Well, the same thing started happening after that marriage went to pot. I come into our marriage not focused on being single. And so we had to get that together. Now I had a little bit more wisdom by then.
Yeah.
And I was able to make the adjustment, guys. But I need y'all to understand that there is power in singleness. And I need you to own it. Stephanie, when you say fire, you are 100% right. Foundational work is absolutely the basics, Edith.
And let me just share this. As a single man, as a single woman, your goal in life is not to be in a relationship.
Ooh, you messed up some people right there.
Your goal should not be
you just messed
to
up
get in a relationship. Your goal should be, what's this business that I want to start? What's these things that I want to learn? How do I want to grow as a person? How do I want to excel in my job? What are some things that are of interest of me that I've always wanted to do clay making.
Whatever.
Go take a class.
Right.
I've always wanted to travel.
Do that.
Travel. You don't have to be in a relationship to do those things. And what we find is that often singles get so caught up. Their whole focus is they're looking for the next relationship.
All day.
They're trying to find the right one. Most of the people that I know that have successful relationships, they were not looking for a relationship when that person came into their life. They were focused on them. They were just doing them. And then they met somebody. Like with us, I wasn't thinking about getting a relationship. I didn't want to be in a relationship at all because I had been divorced twice. I was done. I was like, I'm good.
I'm not doing
single.
that.
I'm spending time. Me and my daughter are getting closer. I'm doing stuff with her. It was in my doing something with her that we met. But even then, for almost a year, we were just friends.
Absolutely. Platonic.
There was nothing between us.
Nothing.
I didn't like him. He liked me.
Not like that.
And so it was through our friendship that we looked up and was like, hey, I kind of like you.
Yeah. Wow.
I like you too.
kind of dope.
You kind of cool.
Yep.
Maybe this could be something. But because we weren't focused on that, we were just living our life. I mean, we would spend time together as friends, but I was living my life. Yes. I was doing my stuff. He was doing his stuff. It wasn't, I think that oftentimes, especially as older, mature adults, like we said before, that whole timepiece, you're so focused on wanting a relationship that you're missing so many opportunities in your life. Take advantage of this time of your singlehood to do the things that you've always wanted to do. If you wanted to go back to school, go back to school.
Please do that.
If you want to get your real estate license, if you want to start a business, whatever it is, do those things now. Be focused on you.
Yes.
And what will happen in most cases is while you're doing you, number one, you're going to run into somebody that shares the same interests as you and shares the same values as you because you're going to be doing what you do and you're going to run into somebody that thinks the same way you do.
Yes. Versus
you just going out and meeting somebody that you think they cute and they think you cute.
Right. And we're going to do this. Listen, guys, we're almost out of time. We got to get out of here. Friendship is absolutely the bedrock of any healthy marriage. Please believe that. If you want to get married, your best bet of making that last forever is to marry your friend. I'm gonna just tell you the secret. Let's just go to the back of the book. Let's just go to the credits in the movie. Let's just go to the end. You're trying to get married at some point. Most singles, probably 9 out of 10 singles, are eventually interested in being married. I promise you that. Very few singles are not interested in ever being, particularly if you were married once before, and you really know that you can do that better, do that different. Most people who are single at some point want to enjoy life married with the love of their life.
Right.
But the problem is that you will not seek out a friendship.
Right.
And so today at 10 o'clock, we're going to jump in the room with a gang of singles who doing this. A lot of them are already in our M.A.P.S Relationship Academy. Some are not yet. we have learned that at this point, anybody who wants to join our singles community have to come through this intensive first.
Yes.
There are some foundational truths that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to build your value system. Part of the reason why you don't have relationships at work is because you're not attracting people who value what you value.
Yes.
And the reason why you're not attracting them is because you don't know what you value.
Right.
And we're going to take you guys on a journey to help you understand that. And I promise you, Cherie, if I knew what I valued when I got married the first time, I probably would not have gotten married.
Right. I
mean,
agree,
and my ex-wife and I have known each other since we were children.
Right.
And we were cool, but we probably should never have been married.
Right. And I can say for myself, I didn't know what I valued when I got married the first or the second time. And so the things that we had in common or the attraction that we had, I thought was enough. And it wasn't. It wasn't. And that's why those relationships failed.
Wow.
Because we did not share the same values.
Edith said, we on fire.
We on fire.
We on fire.
Thank you, Edith.
Dun-dun-dun. Y'all
Well, let's give them the bonus and then we got to
Listen,
go.
we're going to give y'all a bonus. Y'all want a bonus before we go? Y'all want a bonus? Y'all greedy people want a bonus? Because some of y'all ain't going to sign up, unfortunately, for the intensive.
Yeah,
and you think that these Cliff Notes is enough. And you're going to live off of tea leaves and Cliff Notes about, well, I ain't got the money. I don't know. Let me explain something to you. You better skip that cable bill. Go and turn your cable off for the summer and come on up in this intensive. Because I promise you got it. The question is, will you allocate it for you? Mm-hmm. And so the last one, really quickly, if you want the bonus, put bonus in the chat. If you want the bonus, put a bonus in the chat. Valita said, y'all cute. Yeah, we... Listen, my stomach feeling better, Valita, so I'm good to go. I'm sitting here next to my girlfriend. So anyway, guys, real quick, somebody putting bonus, yes. My greedy people says, yes, coach, yes. The bonus is, put this in the chat, find your tribe. Mm-hmm. Put that in the chat. Find your tribe. We've been talking about your all morning long. Find the tribe that will invest in you. Find the tribe that will help you be accountable and make you own your crap. Find the tribe that will unconditionally love you because you're showing them how that looks. And I want you to find the tribe that will teach you what it looks like to just woosah and relax and stop being so hurried in order to be able to do the next thing. Find your tribe. When you do that, it changes the game. I've often said, and you guys have heard us say this 1,000 times, you cannot get to any place of significance by yourself. Y'all, we all need some help.
Yes.
We really do. And I'm grateful for our tribe. The M.A.P.S community is a part of our tribe. We've got tribes for different things that we do. When it comes to investing, when it comes to doing things like that, we have a tribe. When it comes to accountability, there are tribes that we put in our lives that keep us accountable and gives us the support that we need.
Right. And there are a lot of communities out there. You have to determine what you value and what you're trying to do. If you want to be in a group, a singles group that's all about dating and they pushing that and that's all they talk about, then we're not that tribe for you. But if you want to join a tribe that's going to help you become your best version of yourself, that's going to help you to be able to embrace your singleness and not be hurried or rushing into finding a relationship, but growing yourself, whether it's your personal development, business development, whatever it is, then we invite you to join us. And in order to do that, as Glenn said, you have to sign up for the singles intensive.
You kind of got to
first.
Do that.
You got to go through that.
GlennPBrooksJr.com. Go to that website. Sign up today. We're going to be on this journey throughout the summer. It is an intensive. Think of it as like a college course.
Right.
We are going to do work. We're going to expect something from you. You're going to set that time aside, protect it. You're going to put your kids out. You're going to go ahead and make sure you off your job, whatever. We're going to sit down, and at the end of this intensive, not only will you become the best version of yourself, but then it becomes the pathway for you to come into the community that we call the M.A.P.S Relationship Academy for singles, which is a dope community. We meet every Thursday night, and this is a community of people, men and women of all ages, that are doing the work that it takes to be the best version of themselves. Because at the end of the day, babe, we've said it before, we'll say it again, we all need some help. Y'all be good. Let's talk soon. We got a lot going on. You got to meet with the ladies this morning at
Yep.
9:30, right? The single ladies. And then at 10 o'clock, we're going to jump in a room with our intensive. I'm excited. I'm going to start that first. Cherie will jump in a little bit later because she will have been meeting with the single ladies. But we doing the most, guys, because at the end of the day, we're not here without help.
Right.
We're not here. We're not doing what y'all see. Y'all talking about y'all cute. No, y'all can be cute too. We didn't get here by ourselves.
Right. No, it took a community to help us to get here.
Absolutely. If it wasn't for that, we'd be in trouble. Teresa, you said the word, and I promise you it is absolutely true. The M.A.P.S singles rock. We'll see you guys real soon. Be good, and hopefully you'll be back next week, 8 o'clock, same bat channel, same bat time. We all need some help.